I usually don't do things like this, but when I heard that Desmond Wilson had passed away, man, it kind of hurt. I really felt it. And usually, when celebrities, actors, musicians, they pass away, it's like you kind of go, oh, and you move on. But for this one, it's like I just felt he was just too young, too soon. Um, One day, I was, I'm a DVD collector, movie collector. It may have been 7 years ago when I heard of the show Sanford and Son. I went to the HMV. They don't, they're not around anymore where I am, and I'm just looking for stuff to watch, movies, TV shows, whatever's interesting. When I'm gonna go and get. And mind you, I never heard of Sanford and Son before. I've never heard of it before. I've never heard of Red Fox. I might have heard of him, but I didn't know who he was. But I didn't really know who he was or Desmond Wilson until I seen the show. And when I seen it, mind you, I was like in my 20s, I think. Like I was like in my 20s when I first seen the show, and it was a really good, interesting, funny, intriguing show. Like it was very entertaining. And especially, I'm kind of a historian, but I like to see that old retro um, setting and environment. This show debuted back in the 70s, so I really like that, um, that feel, that 70s retroness. And again, never heard of them, never heard of these people, never heard of the show. And I watched it in my 20s, and I was like, whoa, this show is really good. And ever since, it's like in my top maybe three, four shows of all time. I watch clips of the show from time to time, and such a good show. But when I heard that he left, he passed away, man, I thought he was just too young. I feel like, I'm going off topic. Like ages now are just, 50 is now young, 60s are now young, and I feel like 70s are gonna soon be young, and eventually 80s might be young. Um, the way that we're growing up now is, exceptional, because we all, like, not all but most of us now look younger. You compare people in their 50s back in the 60s or 70s, they look old. But now a lot of people in their 50s and 60s, they look young. And they look great. So I think the 70s are still young, and I think eventually the 80s might still be young. That's the way we're heading. Maybe, maybe not. But anyways, man, it's just, I know we all gotta go, but to also see a lot of actors, celebs, that you grew up with as a child, watching, cartoons, other live action shows, movies, and then they're just slowly just, dying. From NBA players to musicians, especially with the NBA players. I always thought that, they would always be here. As a kid, like, I always thought they would always be here. I always thought they would always just stay alive. But as they just slowly keep dying, man, it kind of hurts because I used to study these players. in the library, books, reading about them, watching about them, and just learning from them, from the George McKinnons to early thousands. I used to, these were my players. These are my, guys that I looked up to, that I tried to emulate, that I respect their history, the way they paved the game of basketball. They're pioneers. To me, they're basketball gods. But to see all of them just dropping, dead, man, it's sad. Especially when you go to, I do a lot of researching of people, celebs, and every time I go to Wiki, you're always looking at their birth, and it's like there's when you see their birth, all you see is their date of birth, and that's it. You look for years, and all you see is their date of birth, and that's it. But now all of these people you grew up with, from the actors, NBA players, musicians, now when you look at their wiki now, you see born and you see dead or death, which is so sad, man. To see, people from your childhood that you looked up to, you've known for, you've heard their voice, you've seen them on TV, in the music for so long. And now they're slowly going. I mean, you knew it was going to happen, but you didn't really pay attention to that because every day, every year, every show, every time, they were always there on TV. They were always there in the music. They were always there. So you make that connection some way and somehow. So you always figure they're always going to be here. But when they actually do die, it's like watching these shows, it's not the same. And to see another one, Desmond Wilson, go. Man, it's a new era, man. It is a new era. A new era, man. Just got to accept it. I didn't know Desmond Wilson as a, person. I knew he was an actor. I knew he was like a pastor, minister. I knew he kind of quit acting, I think maybe in the 90s. That's all I know about him. But at the same time, I feel like just through Sanford and Son, I developed this connection with him. I know he was just an actor, just a character. But to see him go, man. And usually, with death, it wasn't until recently, I had 2 deaths just last year around the same time. That's when I really felt something. And usually when people die, it's like you feel bad, you think about it, you move on. But now it's like people die, you just tend to dwell on it now. It's like, where did this come from? Man. But anyways, man, condolences and respects to the families of Desmond Wilson, man. Man. Thank you for help creating this show, and one of the greatest shows ever of all time. A lot of people still talk about Sanford and Son. It's only as soon as I started watching the show, that's when you really start to hear people talk about the show. And that's good. I'm not saying that's anything bad, because I never heard of the show before I even seen it. I didn't even know anything about this show when I got the DVD thing. Didn't know nothing, and I just got it and I said, hey, let's go try it and let's see what happens. And I don't regret it. It's one of the best purchases I've ever made in terms of these collecting movies and TV shows. Sanford and Son, the DVD set. Can't find that anywhere else anymore. Red Fox is gone. White Man Mayo left us. And the only last remaining He's like the last remaining main characters of Sanford and Son. Hal Williams is the last. Is the last survivor of Sanford and Son. I don't know, man, but the last survivor, man. He is the last survivor. But anyway, respect and condolences to the families. Let the lightning be your sword. What is to say that let the lightning be your sword and the sun be your shield. Adios.